Disney has struggled to understand what consumers want to watch from movies to TV shows. They have released a lot of failures over the past few years, and one series that did great at the start was The Mandalorian. People loved the Mando and Baby Yoda. Their adventures were exciting, and it felt like Star Wars. Season 2, of course, struggled, but people were happy about specific cameos that happened. And with Season 3, though, things have been rough so far. The season has been surrounded in controversy over them firing Gina Carano, and now we know premiere viewership numbers and they aren't very good. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So, I wanted to start off with the direct article. The Mandalorian Season 3 suffers weak premiere viewership. Honestly, I can't say that I'm all that surprised. I didn't think Mandalorian Season 3 was going to do as well as the other two, because a lot of that excitement has kind of died off for the series, and of course it was surrounded in controversy. So they were facing multiple problems going into this. It says, though, The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere suffered a surprisingly weak performance on Disney Plus compared to other Star Wars series. Having kickstarted Disney Plus's blockbuster efforts as the first streaming series from the Marvel or Star Wars universes, The Mandalorian has turned into a cultural phenomenon over the recent years, with Season 2 setting records for the service at the time. Yeah, Mandalorian has been very successful and very popular so far. Of course, one of the major reasons is Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda absolutely blew up. Kids love the character, adults love the character, and then of course you have Pedro Pascal, who is a very well-known actor. But it says The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere disappoints on Disney Plus. According to The Wrap, which shared data collected by Samba TV, the Mando Season 3 premiere had a relatively weak performance in comparison to some other Star Wars Disney Plus series. Although its viewership exceeded the recent Andor by close to 50%, it still trailed behind Obi-Wan and the Book of Boba Fett premieres by 28% and 2% respectively, while also falling short of Loki's premiere by 35 whole percent. Now, it is honestly a little bit funny to see that it was right on par with the Book of Boba Fett, because Book of Boba Fett, while it was a bit hyped up, it definitely wasn't as highly anticipated as something like Obi-Wan. I feel like if you've ever enjoyed Star Wars, you were pretty excited for Obi-Wan, even though, in my opinion, it was a pretty disappointing series overall. But looking at something like Book of Boba Fett, I wasn't excited for it, and I was disappointed with the changes they made to the canon, even though, of course, Star Wars canon has been a mess over the past few years. But yeah, this season of this series was right on par with Boba Fett. It also says, as shared by Samba TV, the first episode of Ewan McGregor's Jedi spin-off was viewed by 2.14 million US households in the first 4 days. Meanwhile, the debuts of Mando Season 2 and Book of Boba Fett were watched by 2.08 million and 1.5 million households respectively. This data would seem to indicate that Season 3 Episode 1 was viewed by just under 1.5 million households in the US. The disappointment comes after the original trailer for Season 3 overtook Obi-Wan Kenobi to become easily the highest viewed trailer for a Disney Plus series in a galaxy far, far away. So, yeah, unfortunately for Disney, now they are even facing problems with series that they had a lot of hope and faith in. They were probably banking on Mandalorian Season 3 to do pretty good compared to something like Boba Fett, because, of course, you're 3 seasons in, you have an established audience for it so far. But a major problem I see here is, first of all, people are kind of worn out with Star Wars. Unfortunately, they just haven't put out the best content over the past couple of years for this franchise, and while the first season of Mando was pretty solid, it still wasn't perfect. And then, of course, they had the whole entire Gina Carano controversy. I know I personally was very turned off from this series when they decided to fire her, and there were thousands of other people who said that they were going to boycott this series, and we don't actually know if those people decided to come back and resubscribe or give this show another chance now that it has been about a year and a half since she was fired. But I mean, the viewership is much lower than it previously was. Of course, if you do not remember, Mandalorian actress Gina Carano fired by Lucasfilm. This was massive when it happened, and even when it happened, there were people who showed that they unsubscribed from Disney Plus. We don't know if they got those individuals back, but, well, this series that they had a lot of faith in previously isn't doing the best. Gina Carano, who portrayed Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, was fired from Lucasfilm due to the actress's controversial social media posts. She is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. And they did actually address Cara Dune's future in The Mandalorian in the first episode of season 3 by basically just saying, oh, she's off. She's busy right now, so she can't be here to help the Mando and Baby Yoda in their adventures. In my opinion, I think it's because they didn't want to kill the character off, since they want to use her again in the future. I think that they will recast Cara Dune, and I think that they will stick her in her own series, because that's what they originally wanted to do, even with Gina Carano. We heard that she was going to be getting her own TV series, or I should say Disney Plus series, and they were pretty excited for it as far as we knew. So I think that they are still waiting for some of the controversy to die down. They probably wanted to see how season 3 goes, and then they'll announce this big new Cara Dune recast, and then they will be silent on Gina because they don't want to even acknowledge her existence anymore. But I do truly believe that she is one of the big reasons why the show isn't drawing in the viewership it previously did. Another reason is the fact that they are pumping out a lot of Star Wars content and people are feeling fatigued. When Mandalorian season 1 and 2 came out, there weren't really any other Star Wars shows releasing, but now we have Book of Boba Fett, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, we have Andor, and we have this. So I feel like people just need a breather from this type of content. Also, we don't see a clear direction with what they want to do with Star Wars. We've heard rumors that they want to make something like 1,000 years in the future after the sequel trilogy, and they want to create new characters. We've even heard that they potentially want to bring some of those sequel trilogy characters back, like Rey. So we don't know what they're doing with Star Wars right now. It's leading to a lot of questions, but as you can see, season 3 has suffered very weak premiere viewership numbers for Disney, and I bet that they're probably freaking out a little bit over it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.